Get some coffee before we get GDP. Yo, ready to get this juice? Previously on KIMBA TV. You know, settlement's already been tapped, so that's probably gonna break. And then value area high, it's, you know, maybe you can get, I doubt it. I think the RTH low is the juiciest thing, so. Let me see. Pally says, at this moment, it's difficult to see if we're going up or down. Oh, easy. If it gets, how do you tell if it did a bullish retest? You make a higher high. If it doesn't make a higher high, you're always going to have a chance to get that lower low. Yeah, today's actually kind of fairly straightforward. All right, let's go, y'all. 30 seconds on this thangity dang thing. Let's go, S&P. Help Daddy Bugatti with this dang dang. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kachoya boo-booyah! GDP stands for goddamn profits. Can I get a kachoya? Holy shit, this coffee's way too hot. Ready. 10 hours and counting. Lions of Laquania, quit playing with them. Quit playing with them. Quit. Ooh. Get it. Y'all falling late. Omaha. Kachoya boo-booyah. All right. Okay, we got 45 minutes to kind of nerd out here. Let me just look at S&P. Pedro, what's going on? Thomas, what's going on? Zavi says, was that GDP data bullish or bearish? Kimba said bearish. I don't know why. You need to get caught up on yesterday's stream. I broke it down for about an hour, Zavi. Yeah, you should have already been here, Zavi, prepared. You know, before the number comes out, Zavi. So the biggest juice and the profit for you, Zavi, is you should have shown up today with the understanding if it was bullish or bearish. All right, Zavi? And make sure that you rewind and get caught up. We literally spent like 2 hours talking about it. All right, Zavi? So even like basic stuff like this, you should be able to understand. So if actual, okay, if GDP is higher than what's forecasted, like right now, it's good for the US dollar, which means that for risk assets, it's a little bit bearish. Do you understand that the US dollar and the US economy has a somewhat of a inverse correlation? Now, what we talked about was if the data is bearish, it's going to increase the chances of rate cuts, which would be bullish. So you have two ways you can play this, because in the past, there's setups that are the exact same when the data is like this from before. So this is just a little bit of common sense, Zavi, and historical probabilities. So is this your first GDP and PCE? I don't think so. What do you remember from the last GDP and PCE? Zavi, you are a 3-month sub. So you've seen, theoretically, at least 2 GDPs and PCEs. Look at your notes from the past GDP and PCE. What are some of the things that you remember? What are some of the things that you wrote down for yourself to be able to recall? How good is your preparation, Zavi? Okay. I know hundreds of people that are like 2-3 month subs like you, and they have pages of notes that they're going through right now. So do you feel like you're prepared and that, you're doing it as well as other people? I have dozens of DMs from people, asking amazing questions, much more complicated than yours. And they're 2-3 month subs like you. So do you feel like you're in the top 5, 6, 7%, Zavi? I'm just talking about effort. This isn't your first GDP PCE, right? What are your notes? Do you have any notes? What do you remember? I mean, imagine if you have no notes and you don't remember anything from the last GDP and PCE. What a waste of time this has been. So take a look at your preparation. Look down on your desk right now. How many pages of notes do you have? What did you prepare yesterday? What did you study about GDP and PCE? Yeah, did you watch the stream yesterday when we spoke about this for about an hour and a half? So on a day like today, I want you to just be able to look yourself in the mirror and take pride in your preparation, brother. All right, it's just effort. I don't expect you to be the best trader. I just need you to give me your best. You feel me? So yeah, Zavi, that's pretty much, everything that we talked about yesterday. Like, do you understand like the basic concept of why, if the GDP is higher, it's good for the US dollar? Do you understand that GDP is what? Gross domestic product. So do you understand if the GDP is high, that the US dollar is strong? And then if the US dollar is strong, what does that mean for risky assets? And last but not least, that's how a retail trader, like my 5-year-old niece understands that. The question is, okay, now that we understand basic fucking common sense, what do you think is this priced in or is it not? Because this is going to make it seem like we're going to need rate cuts, which is in turn bullish. So that's where we're at right now. We're watching this. Alrighty, but it's you definitely want to know exactly what you're gonna do, exactly how you're gonna interpret the data before you show up today. Alrighty, Gypsy just gifted 10 subs. Quit playing with him. Can I get a catchoy? Any questions though, Zavi? Does that make sense? Urbanix says, hey Kimba, everything okay with you? Did you sleep well? Brother, I haven't slept well since fucking middle school, bro. To be honest. No, I mean, once in a, like when I go to Hawaii, dude, even when I go to Hawaii, I still am waking up at 3 o'clock because I have work emails I gotta do. Kachaya, but yeah, I mean, conceptually speaking, I got like good sleep, I think, but I every day I'm sleepy. Wamiz. Thea says, if dollar is doing fine, why is it more likely? How do you know it's doing fine? Because of the first 30 minutes of pre-market action? For me to know that it's doing fine, I needed to have, daily candle closes above or below levels. Because of GDP, I don't know what that means. Is this your first GDP and PCE trading day? I mean, I guess it depends on what your definition of fine. For me, I like to get daily candle closes. I don't just go off of, what it's doing the first couple hours. Yeah. And really the other thing too, Theus, is do you know what the difference is with GDP and PCE? We've had more volatility during PCE, for example, the last couple months. Do you know why Jerome Powell prefers PCE to figure out inflation over GDP? So, in my opinion, GDP won't really matter too much because of what Jerome Powell has been saying the last couple months. So it's kind of like baby volatility for me. Overall, I mean, you were here yesterday, so you already know it, but I'm prepared for today and tomorrow. You feel me? Yeah, man. So, but that being said, I already have levels to the upside and levels to the downside. So let's see. My first sort of idea is if we get this, I already have a giant S&P long, so it's not like I'm going to add, you feel me? But I'm almost thinking, should I get another sub account open on BTCC and take this one separately? But that's about it. And then obviously settlement bullish retest for Bitcoin as well. Dude, if a chick can be wearing a bikini and sit in a hot tub and not say anything and have thousands of viewers, I feel like we could at least get half. Do I need to fucking stream in a bikini? Is that what it is? Right, Bagamani? We should be able to get at least half. I mean, either that or humanity is really bearish right now. I mean, forget if S&P or Bitcoin is bearish. I mean, if we can't at least get half of what these hot tub streamers get, I mean, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 more minutes on the hourly candle close. Let me know if you guys have any questions, okay? You guys know what I'm thinking about, all right? Hey, if you think that this ain't gonna happen, you're tripping. You guys ready on some of these? You guys ready on some of these? Let's go. Could be tomorrow, right? That's why I'm trying to do a big ass giveaway for you guys today, so you guys can get that juice and then you guys can juice on your own. Nam God, let's go. Damon, Blaze, your owner. All right, talk to me, Blaze. Talk to me, Orchata. Talk to me, Zamil. Talk to me, XLR. Any questions? I think the easiest thing to wait for next is a 30-minute candle close that makes a higher high on S&P. Okay? With Bitcoin, you're watching settlement and value area low and that bad low that we talked about. Whether it's this one right here or this one right here. And remember what we said about this box, y'all. All right? Do you guys have levels to the downside and levels to the upside? Do you feel prepared? What the fuck? Pixel. Pixel, you know what it is. So let's stay prepared, keep our head in a swivel. Let's get this juice. I know where I'm papinking on Sui. I know where I'm papinking on Tao. You guys okay? Shishibui, let's go. Horchata, let's go. Dilphy says, brother, when you are pulling the Bugamas every morning, are you looking at expiry today? Yes. So the top left, look at it. It says 0828 expiration. Look at the top right, 828 expiration. Look at the middle bottom, 828. The only one that's all expirations is the one on the bottom right. But it's hard to kind of see, but it says, yeah. So it's pretty much 0-day expirations except for the bottom right. Now, just by looking at the data for right now, bottom right, would you want to try to get into a long or a short? Do you realize that you might want to get into a long on S&P? S&P is bullish. Can you see that? Were you here when the price was here? And I said, guys, I'm going to just start fucking longing all this shit. Were you here during these days when I was like, I'm just adding, guys. I'm just adding. My average entry is 160. Technically, it's like 160.03 or whatever. But here is when we said, I'm going to long Sol. And I said Sol is, in my opinion, the one that's going to outperform the most. And so I'm going to put a lot of my altcoin long money onto Sol. So we went pretty heavy. Our average entry is basically like 160. We had already identified that this is a first level of resistance. That's our second level of resistance. Yeah. So I don't really want to scalp this. I already made up my mind weeks ago that I'm going to take the time to do this. And so when it takes off, I don't need to try to chase this bitch. You know why? Because did you know that I had a 95 long? You probably wouldn't even believe me if you weren't here, dude. I had pixel fucking perfect long. Okay? And I TP'd the long here. And I had a long here, and I TP'd it right there. So I said, fuck my life. Let me just get in and hold it. Yeah, so this is one of those, brother, that we said, I don't want to try to keep scalping this bitch, and because I'm either going to get left at the train station or I'm just going to get round trip stopped out. So instead of, traumatizing myself through that, I said, you know what? Let me just do the smart thing, which is let me just build a position. Not let me enter a position. Let me build a position. And this whole time I was adding. And now we juicing like a motherfucker. But yeah, I am holding my long until 450, if not higher. If I get to 230, it's generational juice for me. Same with S&P. Did you know that I have like a $22 million long on S&P? I've been holding this bitch for like fucking 2-3 weeks now. Nice, bro. When did you start crypto? I started 13 years ago. I'm the back-to-back Mt. Gox trading champion. So about 13, 14 years, I guess. All right, and we just gave away $5,000. We're going to give away $500,000, okay? Kachoy boobuya! Leitero says, Kimba, how can I get the NFT? It's only minting. I'm broke. I'm going to do some... You want me to do a giveaway for NFTs? Okay, so you guys, I'm going to try to shoot. Can let's take a quick little lettuce break. And we're going to see if the NFTs start flowing in here. Xantry says, can we see each chart real quick? Absolutely. What are you looking for? You're looking for a long, right? Is that what you're doing? Or you're in a short right now? So this is it. We pulled this fib a while ago. Don't be mad at me. Okay, you got to be prepared. Are you in a long right now? Yes or no? Because if I pulled another fib from here to here, would you be surprised if I told you it's pixel perfect golden pocket on top of the bigger golden pocket? What do you want to know, Xantry? Are you asking me, should you be taking this golden pocket long? Generally speaking, right? after markets close, before Macaulay with descending volume throughout the day, this would not be something you want to take. However, the fact of the matter is, whether you kind of look at it like this or this or this or this, you have structure and divs working in your favor. So if you're gonna take that long, your stop loss is here. You should have already been in it in that one. You know, I think you were here when we pulled this fib and we were talking about that one. But yeah, I think Bitcoin and alts are still going to go lower, which is why I haven't taken a SUI or a Tau long, even though my alarm went off, right? So I think at this point, low volume, descending volume, after market, if you don't already have a position that you're praying you don't get stopped out on, I think you're kind of foolish to chase anything before PCE. So that's the way that I would explain it. Just to see if your levels are matching mine. Okay, yeah. I mean, so do you understand that this is the one that you want to anchor? Do you see this? Put your cursor over this candle so you know that it's going to line up on that one. So that's the one where you anchor it from. Where are we? So what would you say that my general sort of medium time frame bias is? Probably a little bit down. So, you know, and obviously I feel like if you can do this, then awesome. So it might feel almost counterintuitive to be like, why the fuck would you take a long from here, KIMBA, if I can be in from here? You don't know if would be better and safer than yours, but that's also why it's called risk reward. You're taking more risk. You should get more reward. I'm taking less risk. I should get more reward. I agree with you. But the fact is, I want the less riskier shit. You want the higher riskier shit. So, that's kind of like what it comes down to. Lanasax says, it seems stupid at first, but I feel kind of being more part of all this, now owning my 2 lions. That's awesome. I mean, I don't want this to feel gimmicky. You know what I mean, Lana Zach? Do you feel like you know me enough where, like, you know, I really wanted to put everything, line kind of things together. You're going to know what I mean. When I have a couple of other things coming out for you guys in the next couple days. And I'm pretty strategic. And I kind of like to line up my chess pieces. Yeah, but it's always been about camaraderie, you know, Lana Zach. So I'm glad that you feel that way, and I hope it pays off many times over for you, Lana Zach. But do you have any questions in terms of what we're looking at and what we want, and, you know, levels to the upside, levels to the downside? Because obviously at the end of the day, like, if you guys can't get into positions, if you can't juice, you know, what the fuck are we doing? Trading fucking JPEGs? No, that's not what we're here for. So let me know. At the end of the day, I want y'all to juice. I want you guys to feel prepared. How many people are actually starting to jump into, like, S&P trading? Is there anybody that's been kind of jumping into S&P trading in the last 6 weeks? You weren't really fucking with, like, S&P, NASDAQ, and TradFi, but now that you have access to it, whether it's, you know, BTCC or MEXC or Bybit, have you guys been diddle-daddling with it? Now, have you been juicing or not really? And be honest with me. Like, what can I do to really help? Aside from the Bugama nerd out, for you guys to, you know, enjoy and have fun over on S&P. Does SPY 0-day gambling count as S&P trading? Well, for you, yes, because you have the ability to ask that question. If you didn't ask that question, then I would say that you're gambling. Castillo says, not much, still not in the flow. Castillo, were you here the whole day with me? Did you understand all the things that I was kind of talking about? So if I invite you to my the Discord audio chat, and I say, Castillo, the floor is yours. I want you to break down the Bugammas for me and tell me what I should do today. You think you can handle it? And if not, are you excited to be able to get to that level? You don't have to be right or wrong. I just want you to tell me like what the book says. Gamer Girl says, I'm juicing off order flow, nerd out. Need that gamma though. Let's go. Shout out Gamer Girl. Castillo says, I was AFK today. Fuck. Really? Dude, that sucks, dude. You gotta rewind and get caught up. Castillo, would you be surprised if I told you that sometime around here, we were like, fa-fa? And we went like this. And then when it got here, we were like, fa-fa. And we went like this. And then when we got up here, we said, watch, there's going to be a bunch of people that blindly short 6505. They're going to get stopped out first. And we said, if you are in a long from earlier in the day, you need to, TP and put your stop loss at break even and, maybe expect a bullish retest of 6505. You got to try to be here as much as you can, Castillo, because, I'm not going to do this every single day. Biffum is dropping a lot of money for the subathon and juiceathon, as is everybody else. And so I'm going to make sure that the next 3, 4, 5 days, we're going to juice up. You will know everything that I know. I'm going to try to just vomit out everything that I know in the next 3, 4 days. It'll be archived in the YouTubes. You guys can go back and rewatch it as many times as you want. I'm going to convert it into other different languages. It's not going to be perfect. Obviously, it's AI, but... And that's it. And then we'll use that as the foundation and build upon it. So when you are here and asking me questions, I know that you watched it, you heard what I said, and we can go from there. What do you think, Loey? And the NFT is kind of part of that. And now here's the thing too, Loey. Like, it's one thing to... give you the info, but how about making sure that you guys actually know what the fuck is going on? It's one thing for you guys to be like, yeah, I get it, Kim, but yeah, no, I read that, no, I watched it, yeah. It's a whole different ball game to hold each other accountable, isn't it? So you guys excited for like little quizzes and tests? And like really being able to see if you know what the fuck is going on. Because isn't that what we all want at the end of the day? To feel confident about seeing an opportunity and taking the trade and not fucking, pussyfooting and being scared all the time. Because here's the thing. How many of you guys gamble? How many of you guys go play blackjack? I love blackjack. I love baccarat. But I know basic strategy. I know that if I have a 16, aside from like a good count, I know that if a dealer has a 10 and I have a 16, I'm supposed to hit. And I don't get pissed if it doesn't work out because I'm confident that I did what I was supposed to do because it's a net positive ROI. It's on to the next one. You get pissed if you feel like you gambled and you don't have confidence that what you did was the right thing to do. So if you feel confident that you're doing the right thing, it really doesn't matter if it works out for you or not. And then you couple that with things like not getting triggered or pissed off if you get round tripped or left at the train station, because guess what? We're retail traders. That's going to happen. So, it's once in a while you're going to get a juicy. Most of the time you're going to get round tripped or stopped out in tiny profit, And that's okay. So, I think that's all it is. And then you guys can watch those videos and say, fuck it, this is bullshit, or this is kind of cool, and off you go. Like, keep nerding out, juicing, improving, learn from other people. We got 15 minutes, y'all, on the whitelist. Anyways, Dan Green, Paul. Paul says, waiting for those nerd outs to get some refresh. Yarr. Let's go, Paul. You know, it's really just going to be identifying levels. You already know. If I were to ask you, what kind of levels do I like? I know you already know. In fact, if I were to ask you, not only what kind of levels do I like, but for each of those levels, what do I like specifically? I know you could tell me every single one, right? So that's easy. I know you've got that down. So maybe it's just a little bit of being able to have a really refined protocol to be able to say, okay, there's a CVD div here. There's an open interest here. How do I prioritize certain things? How do I take this trade if I don't have all the edge that I want? Maybe you can sprinkle in a little bit of Boogamma Mama and help you during RTH, you know? And then it's just experience and doing it faster and faster and faster. Like, you can totally understand the difference between watching 5-year-old kids play soccer and like pros do it, right? The decision making, the amount of like progression of the skill set, right? It's all just done much, 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 much faster, right? So it's almost anticipatory, can't you say? So that's it. Hey, Huju Shin, Kulix, Rashafan, Berbizi. Man, it's been quite a journey, y'all. By the way, I think this is also a fun time to talk about co-streaming. Lions. If you know, you know, especially for the ones that are still here right now. We're trying to turn this shit into the ESPN of crypto. So you're going to start to see other people streaming different time zones. You know, we're going to continue to grow this as a family. So if you see mods, admins, new mods, you know, somebody else streaming, show them some love. We're all lions, ladies and gentlemen. Deadly Crypto. Deadly Crypto says, talk to us about the chart you're watching. Well, this is Coinbase. All right, give us some insights for educational purpose. Sure. I mean, everything is hidden CVD, bull div, and S&P. So it's PCE tomorrow. It's one of the most important variables that Jerome Powell, you know, factors into his inflationary and rate cut decisions. And so basically, you know, 112 is a very, very important level. If we can get above 112, 113, then I'll see you at 116, 118 easy, if not higher. Okay? But if you are continuing to find resistance at this 112 to 113 zone, 108 and 105 is always in play. All right, so these are kind of like the pivotal higher time frame moments. Now, you're joining us at like a not that great time because, you know, everybody that was longing is already in longs. We're already in longs. So it's not like you can really chase longs. You know, for example, we've been trading SOL for a very, very, very long time. 216 and 230 are my first levels of resistance. So, you know, if you weren't here for the last couple of weeks and you missed all these longs, that's okay. You know, but I certainly wouldn't be talking about, hey, where's a good place to chase a SOL long? You know, maybe VWAP, maybe fibs, most likely VWAP and imbalance like single prints. But, you know, 235 is where I'll probably try to figure out if I want to head short or TP a little bit of my 160 long. Same with ETH. I'm looking for 5,000, 5,300, 5,800. So, yeah, and then there's a bunch of altcoins where we're waiting to get filled, like Tau, Sui. So just trying to be patient, but it's a pretty big day tomorrow, PCE. So